Welcome, everybody. It's 2 minutes after. We're still getting some people to click in, but we'd like to get started on time and get you out on time. My name is Rob Cornerans. I'm going to get started here. Just give a little bit of background on advanced roofing, advanced green technologies, and advanced air systems. This is about budgeting and asset management. We have a lot of tools to educate you on the latest technology. That's what's out there. We've always been a company that's been ahead of the forefront of getting software and IT that's really helpful to manage property. So proud to do this today and join. So upcoming seminars, we have coatings, HVAC, solar energy, rooftop, safety, roof asset management, top 10 things property managers need to know, and getting ready for the hurricane season. These are great. They are all accredited for your credits required for your license. So please join us on the future seminars as well. So my background, I grew up in Long Island, New York. I worked for a roofing company through high school and college. I graduated from the University of Arizona in 1979, and my boss had me open a branch in Atlanta, Georgia. He moved me down to Fort Lauderdale in 1982, and then I started Advanced Roofing in 1983, borrowed $15,000 from my dad, bought a pickup truck, and just grew it from where it is today. I saw some needs out there, especially with HVAC. A lot of the roofs back then were on sleepers, 4x4 sleepers on the air conditioners, so they had to be raised 18 inches per the code. So we bought a little company in 1994, and today Advanced Air Systems, one of the premier HVAC companies working under Advanced Roofing and with Advanced Roofing. Then in solar, we saw a need for that coming on back in 2004, 2005. See a lot of solar, so we were one of the leaders in solar. Got into it. We had a license for thin film, and then we just grew it from there. Today, we're the largest rooftop carport solar installer in the state of Florida. We also do lightning protection, repairs, maintenance, coatings, roof asset management we're going to talk about today, electrical division, as well as the solar. Our statewide coverage, we have Fort Lauderdale's headquarters since 1983. Proud to say we made 40 years last year, had a big celebration. Jupiter, Palm Beach, service and small scope work. Sanford is a full service, large re-roofs. We just received a contract for $25 million to do the Orlando Convention Center. That's combined with mostly roofing, but that has air conditioning and solar. So our companies be able to self-perform on a big $25 million project. Tampa as well, full service, production, service, and repairs. Jacksonville, Fort Myers, and Miami, they're all similar. We do service and small scope work. We have over 80 trucks on the road throughout the state. So we take pride in our workmanship. Our slogan is experience matters, and what that means is we did a marketing survey 20 years ago, and the experience of our customers was just jumped out at our marketing people, and they just said, you know what, people talk about Advanced and very experienced, and it was a great experience out of any construction that they ever done. So all our projects, we go for awards. We won many awards. Just here's a list of several of them in the last few years. We've got many with the FRSA, with manufacturers awards. And you can see here, Carlisle, CF. We're licensed by all the major manufacturers. We don't get married to one. We like to be able to pick and choose as far as who's giving us best pricing, best warranties, and stand behind the warranties. Manufacturers' warranties are there to protect them. So the good manufacturers step to the plate if there's an issue, and they really do. So it's important to us to have good vendor relationships, both on the distribution and the manufacturers. So here you see a lot of awards. Make sure you stay till the end. We're going to have a raffle. We've got some gift certificates to a great restaurant there downtown Fort Lauderdale, and then we got some air tags. So stick around for that till the end. And now I'm going to introduce VP partner Clint Stockman. Take it away, Clint.
Thanks, Rob. Welcome, everybody. Appreciate you joining us today to learn a little bit about roofing, budgeting, and technology in the business. Like Rob said, I'm executive vice president here at Advanced Roofing. Been in the roofing business really my whole adult life, and with my Advanced family here for 18 years. I qualified the company along with several others with general contractor's license, roofing license, and solar license. And really not only here to talk to you about it, but just show you how to really take advantage of these things, understand what we're doing when we're budgeting and choosing roof systems. Next slide, please. Some learning objectives for today: how and when to budget for roof repairs, how and when to budget for maintenance and replacements, using our technology, roof assets maintenance programs, our ramp, and then hopefully leave some time for Q&A as well. Feel free to use the chat. If you have written questions, we can respond during the chat in real time, and if it's something that maybe is a deeper dive, we'll address it at the end as well. When we go out and we're going to embark on this, process of budgeting for a re-roof, a lot of people don't know this, but re-roofing a building is one of the most expensive capital projects that a building will take on throughout the course of its life after the initial construction cost is taken. So it's a large expense. It can be intimidating, both from a operations perspective and a financial perspective. So a lot of questions to ask. We start going through this process, and the first thing we really need to do is take an inventory of the roof system that's there right now. That could be TPO, it could be modified, it could be tile or metal, but understanding what you have, understanding its current condition, and then taking this inventory. Is the deck structurally sloped? What kind of mechanical penetrations are up there? Quantities of base flashings, quantities of drains and scuppers, and understanding how your drainage system works. We call that a takeoff. We send out field engineers. We gather all of this information when we're going to do budgeting. Next slide, please. Once we gather all that information up, we have a question to ask ourselves: are we going to repair or are we going to replace? We look at this inventory, we look at this condition assessment, and we start to ask some deeper questions, kind of peeling back the onion a little bit and getting deeper to the core. What is the service history of the building? Are you spending $10, $20, $50,000 a year in reactive repairs, emergency situations? Or is it minimal? You don't need your roofing contractor that often. The roof's just getting old, but it's actually in good condition. So what is that maintenance history? What are the expenses? What are the locations? Another question that we need to ask ourselves when we're budgeting is, what's the investment horizon and the ownership needs? We have long-term owners, family businesses that have a longer horizon. They choose different roofing systems than somebody who's maybe turning this building over in 5 years, or they could be expanding and demolishing this structure. We ask all of those questions to get a solution that fits the need of the situation that you have. How is this roof or the roof condition affecting business operations? Hospitals, schools, power plants, critical infrastructure often design roof specifications to a different level than we would in warehouse space that really, doesn't have dramatic effect if there's a potential failure down the road, or it's not that critical of a disruption. So we ask ourselves all of these questions. There's some ancillary, what I call non-key factor questions to ask. A lot of people feel like, hey, I have an old roof, it needs to be replaced. Roof age, while it does go into the equation, is not a guarantee that you need to repair or replace your roof. We see 5-year-old, 10-year-old roofs improperly installed, or installed, in a use case that didn't fit, that need to be replaced right away. And we see 30-year-old roofs that are still performing up to expectations. So once we ask all these questions, we tend to get answers, right? Can this roof be repaired? Can it be replaced? And we start looking at the life cycle cost of ownership and then being able to analyze what that means. And when we go down looking at life cycle cost of ownership, there's key inputs that go into this. They're pretty basic. What was the initial cost to install this system? What is the expected life? We're gonna learn a little bit about some studies that have been performed on what the expected life of a roof is, not the warranted life. Because just like your car or yourself and your body, if you don't take care of the asset, you won't get the warranty compared to really taking care of it and going beyond. What are those maintenance costs over the life of the ownership? Can you get energy savings through a reflective roof or additional insulation? And then obviously disposal cost and replacement cost down the road. Some good facts to contemplate while you're making these decisions. 80% of all roofs fail prematurely due to lack of maintenance or poor craftsmanship on installation. What does that mean? If you don't take care of it, you're not going to get what you paid for, right? And if you hire the wrong guys to do it, same thing. Unplanned repairs are on average 3 to 5 times the annual expense of an asset management program, a planned expense program. Proactively maintained roofs last an average of 21 years compared to 13 years. That's one of the biggest inputs on this life cycle cost of ownership. If you look at the minimal cost to maintain and getting 21 years out of your roof versus the reactive cost to maintain and only getting 13 years out of your roof, your cost over that same time period is nearly triple. And we're going to show you that in a minute. We already talked about roof replacement. One thing I like to look at on this wheel, we install roofs, we need to maintain roofs, and then we have the option to restore them if they're in a maintainable state or replace them when they're ultimately failed. But I can tell you that if you skip number 2 or number 1 is chosen improperly, number 2 and number 3 can be non-available to us. Those can essentially just be blacked out, and you can go straight from installing a new roof to replacing a roof with no good option to maintain or restore. We see it often. Next slide, please. So we kind of laid the groundwork for this slide here, talked a little bit about it, the cost of not budgeting for maintenance. We laid out a scenario of 2 different assets, both installed at the same time, the same cost. The only difference here is that one asset is put on a RAMP program, a roof asset management program. One asset is left to its own free devices and only has reactive repairs made when damages occur or when leaks happen. And when we look at how this plays out, we paid $10 a square foot for our initial installation. We're figuring this $4 per square foot for an asset management program over the course of the example on the life on the left, and then 15 cents per square foot for the reactive program for the stack on the right. Now, we assume that if in a properly maintained state, that roof system that was supposed to last 20 years, it's your warranty, properly maintained will last 25. Not maintained at all will need to be replaced in 15 years. Then we factor in natural inflation, natural in historical terms, not in recent terms, 3% per year. And we look at what that means. The same exact roof system, annual cost of ownership, if you do not maintain and are facing another roof replacement, year 15 of that asset is $28,000 a year. Simply by maintaining the investment that you put the money into in year 1 through a RAMP program, $11,000 per year. Yeah, obviously, it's a dramatic cut, right? 30% of the price, cost of ownership. And that's a direct translation to dollar figures, where if we maintain this asset, that 20-year asset, reactive maintenance program, $275,000 investment over the 25 years to get the same term out of an unmaintained roof asset, $714,000. This is real, and obviously it all deems on the fact that we have to tear an old roof off and put a new one in, right in the heart of what it should be performing. So, next slide, please. Budgeting for maintenance. This is some of the backup to what we just talked about here. Top right is a U.S. Air Force study that was done on over 600 million square feet of Air Force buildings. And the United States Air Force actually came back, Department of Defense came back with the figures and the differences of what proactive maintenance versus reactive maintenance costs. So the inputs that I put into the previous slide, these are actually given by a third party, somebody who's one of the largest building owners in the United States, the Department of Defense. Reactive maintenance, I think everybody should know the definition, but if you don't, it means that we're just going out there because there's a problem. You're fixing a problem that has already manifested itself as a leak or as something falling off of your roof. Proactive maintenance means that we're going out there and we're changing the oil, or we're changing the tires, or we're taking care of it We're getting our health check every year, taking care of things that we know will fail before they actually fail. One important note is not only can this save you, 70, 80% over the course of the life, or cut your annual cost of ownership down on your roofing asset by 80%. The warranty that everyone does rely on and covets so much when we finish a roof replacement is actually contingent upon you doing maintenance, and not only doing it, but documenting it and having it available. If there's ever a catastrophic failure, the first thing the roofing manufacturer will ask for is your maintenance records. Next slide, please. All right, time for a quick poll. Do you know where your warranty documents are? Yes, no, and no, and what am I going to do now? Give everybody a couple of minutes to get the results in. Uh-oh, somebody came prepared with his maintenance documents. I like it. 69% yes, have an educated group today, which is good. 24% is no, and a lot of people inherit these properties. Maybe they weren't there when it was originally installed. Nobody kept good documents, and maybe some folks are in trouble. It's never too late. Oftentimes we can identify a manufacturer just by looking at the roof system. We could help you locate if there is a warranty on it. But the best thing that you can do is obviously, start today with a plan. While we're on the warranty topic, just pull out, talk a little bit about what the different manufacturers' warranties that are offered out there are. In the commercial marketplace, the majority of what we offer here at Advanced are NDL warranties. NDL stands for no dollar limit. Can get terms from 10 to 30 years. But the real truth about an NDL is it's never prorated. So what does that mean? If this roof fails at the end of its term, it's a 20-year warranty and year 19 something fails, you're actually getting the replacement value of the entire roof system to be installed new. So it's not a prorated warranty. It's guaranteed for the term, for the entire term of that. A manufacturer's labor and material warranty, and opposite of that, is really just a prorated warranty. It's just the materials and the labor, and as it ages, that warranty becomes less valuable. And then we have material warranties only, and this is where a manufacturer is saying, hey, we guarantee that this material was manufactured to our ASTM standards and our quality standards, but it's up to you to make sure it's installed properly and that it performs over time. Where do we see material only warranties a lot? The coating business. I can tell you that everybody will offer in the coating business, you can get 100-year warranty, right? You just put more coating on it. Well, that is true, but it's just a material warranty. What does that mean? That coating may not be stuck to your roof any longer, may not be providing any waterproofing benefit, but they guarantee that the silicone will be there, in the trash as it's supposed to be. Not that silicones are a bad roof system. My point is, if they fail, it's materials only. Doesn't include the workmanship, doesn't include the labor. And it's only saying that when it came out of the pail, it was manufactured properly. And then you have your contractor's warranty, which just really covers our workmanship. Now, one thing with NDL warranties, anybody who's authorized to give an NDL warranty is actually also certified by that manufacturer, and we take some part of the warranty responsibility. Depending on the manufacturer and the responsibility level that we take, the installing contractor, so Advanced, would own the first 2 to 5 years of that warranty term and be responsible if there was ever any faults. Then the manufacturer actually steps in for the duration and the remainder of the term. So now we talk a little bit about Rob's doing magic tricks up there. He just turned into two people. What lies beyond the initial investment? And this is where choosing the right roof system can play a big role in the whole return on investment and what an asset costs you. We've talked about what maintaining an asset can do for you in financial return, but now we look at two roof systems. They're the same size, but we're actually installing two different types of roofing. One, we're going to install a 20-year TPO. That's the bottom stack. And on the top stack, we're going to install a 30-year warranted PVC. Now, in both scenarios, we're assuming that you're going to maintain this asset because we just learned what maintenance means in regards to lifespan and the cost associated with maintaining your roof, and that you're going to actually get this 20-year life out of your 20-year TPO and a 30-year life out of your 30-year PVC. We apply the same baseline factors of inflation and the replacement cost over for the TPO. And then we look at what that means. And over the 30-year window of the PVC roof system, average cost of ownership is $10,000. Year system over the same 30-year term, meaning we had to install a new roof after 20 years, is $23,000. So 60% less cost by installing a 10% more expensive roof system from day one and maintaining it. That's a pretty compelling story. A lot of people view roofing as a necessity, and we're going to get the cheapest roof we can. Value and cost are very much not tied together in roofing. So spend 10% more, cut your operating expenses by 60%, 40% over the course of the term of the ownership. So this just goes to choosing the right roof system. This could also mean not putting coatings down when you have a lot of ponding water. This could also mean, not putting modified under ponding water if you don't have proper slope. Things that we see happen a lot where you're not choosing the right roof system for the right application, or you're not considering the long-term goals or the short-term goals of the ownership. Next slide. We always do like to leave everybody with a little budget planning cheat sheet. Those reactive repairs we talked about, we need to send 2 technicians out. That's $170 an hour. Your average roof coating and restoration cost, $5 to $8 a square foot. Retrofitting or recovering roof systems, that could be metal standing seam or a flat roof that's going to be recovered with a single ply membrane, 6 to 12. Complete tear off of low-rise building applications, 12 to 20. Mid-rise, 16 to 23. High-rise, which is typically condominiums, office buildings, obviously, $23 to $33 a foot. Now, all of those last 3 complete tear-off options, if you have to add tapered insulation, figure on adding $8 a square foot to those numbers. Rob mentioned advanced air systems, advanced green technologies, handling HVAC and electrical. Scopes of work, those things vary so much between large Class A chillers to split air handlers and exhaust fans. You just got to really call us out to price that. And then stucco vertical wall waterproofing, $5 to $8 a square foot. Next slide. Now I'm going to leave you with Michael Kornarens. Michael's managing partner here, has an enormous amount of knowledge in the commercial roofing space, and he's going to talk to you about insurance and everything else. Michael, take it away.
Good afternoon, good morning. We're going to go through a little bit about the new legislation going on out there, going into effect this year, what's going on in the insurance market, what we're seeing, and then some case studies, and give some real life examples of proper maintenance and things of that nature. So we'll start off, next slide, with the new bill that passed, 4D building safety bill. This came out of the unfortunate collapse of the tower in Miami Champaign Towers. And it goes into effect December 31st, 2024, at the end of this year. And that's just the high level is any building that's 25 years of age within 3 miles of the ocean or of salt water needs to be inspected after 25 years, and if it's more than 3 miles, after 30 years, and then 10 years after that. The bill is going to allow, it's going to make more transparency to the building owners and to make proper reserves and budgets. We see a lot of times working with condos on re-roofs now, they don't have the money. And unfortunately, they may be budgeted 5 years ago, but after all the inflation's going on, prices gone up 20-30%, and they have to do reserves. So it's trying to make the condo associations more fiscally responsible, moving forward. Some good news out of that legislation is that if your roof was installed after 2007 and on, is that you don't have to re-roof it if it is damaged more than 25%. Historical building code required you, if you have more than 25% damage, you had to replace the whole roof. The thought process there is that the code was stringent enough with fastening and attachment patterns after 2007 that you can, do a partial repair or repair one wing of the building if you had a tornado or a microburst came through only on that side. Or, what we see a lot of times after a hurricane, myself personally, because I'm usually on ground zero, is that it wasn't the roof that failed, it was a mechanical unit that flew off or a door that flew off the mechanical unit that ran across the roof. And then the roof had slices in it and then allowed wind and air to get underneath it and blown that section of the roof off. So that's some good news. It'll help the insurance industry not have to pay for brand new roofs. I was on a board several months ago and on a roundtable discussion like this, and an interesting fact came out from one of the lawyers, or what they said was fact. I haven't fact checked it, but 70% of the money paid out from the insurance companies went to the lawyers. The other 30% went out to actual claims and the money to make the construction, do the construction. So some interesting things there. Next slide. So what does that all mean with the insurance industry and where it's going? We're seeing a lot of different aspects out there. It's not one cut and dry answer, I'll tell you that, on the insurance world. They are requiring roofs that are of at least 15 to 20 years. They're going to start looking at the making the association re-roof, looking at the date that it was installed. I can tell you this: don't take their word for Bible, because you can always push back on it. I've seen customers push back at engineering reports. A perfectly good roof that's 20 years old, that's been properly maintained and has proper attachment, has been able to be passed with the insurance companies. Now there's other roofs out there that are not being properly maintained, that's only 10 years old, that the insurance companies are looking at and scratching their head and requiring them to re-roof as well. So maintenance is very important, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But the insurance companies are real. They are requiring a lot of re-roofs because a lot of associations or condos have kicked the can down and even done proper maintenance, but the roof's 40 years old, and there's issues out there. I can tell you one thing is, what I've seen a lot of is people go in and do the re-roof and then do the concrete restoration. My opinion is do the concrete restoration first and then the re-roof, because I can't tell you how many times we've installed a new roof. The concrete restoration project never started in the time frame the customer wanted it to started, and their new roof now has water in the system coming in through some walls. It did not properly encapsulate the whole envelope of the building. So always take that all into consideration when you're looking at these large scale projects and how you phase them out. Next slide. Here's a case study of a condo we did in Miami. Beautiful roof we installed. The customer decided not to install some terrace patios. These terrace patios were actually, I believe, owned by the unit owners, and they were the responsibility of the unit owners. They had tile on them, and they used them to, sit out there. But those terrace patios ended up being a very bad thing for this association, as they were not done, and then therefore the brand new roof was compromised within 3 years of the roof being installed. The water was migrating through these terraces. So I can't tell you how important it is to look at the whole envelope and also do proper maintenance. This customer, I believe, was a little lacking on some maintenance, and we've seen that a lot where we don't do the whole scope of work, and then you have problems down the road. Next slide. As you can see here, this is just a little bit more pictures of the terrace that was causing the issues. There's scuppers that ran out to the other roof that were cracked, and we're up there investigating it. And then also, this is a prime example. The concrete restoration company came in after us on this in that bottom left-hand picture, put their tie-offs through scuppers, And as you can imagine, the tension on that rope broke flashings and allowed water to migrate into the roof system. So got to really think through who's performing work and if they're properly protecting the roof as they're performing the work as well. Next slide. The good news and some cool toys that we've acquired this year and implementing are drone thermal technologies and LiDAR cameras to do measurements. This is a case study of a well-known customer. We installed a new roof on a new construction project in Plant City for them. And we had some reoccurring leaks, which happens on large jobs like this because the roof's so large, it's a couple acres. Sometimes it's hard to find a pinhole that somebody dropped something walking across the roof. And we were out there for about a year trying to find a couple little leaks that no one could find. But then we flew it with the drone, and this is what sold me on the technology. And we invested in 12 of these for the company now, and we're implementing this year, like I said, is that we were able to find out where the water was coming in by flying it with the drone. So we're starting to implement this in our service divisions to be able to pinpoint leaks because water travels, right? It's if they have a concrete deck, it'll travel. Here it was traveling down the metal flues of this metal deck, but it ended up being that there is an improperly installed HVAC flashing that was allowing water to weep into connection lines in the HVAC was the bulk of the issue up there and going down the metal deck and traveling, which no one knew. The HVAC contractor was a great contractor. They were out there, but there was I believe it was a defective part from the manufacturer that was allowing this, and this thermal image allowed us to find that, pinpoint it, and solve the customer's needs. The next slide is a picture of a condo where we had a similar issue. We re-roofed the top, the upper level and the lower level, and then we still had some water migrating through. So you can see the hot spots in there on some of the walls where we actually had some hairline cracks. It didn't look like anything when you're standing on the roof. That was actually absorbing a lot of water on a heavy rain and then allowing it to leak back into the building. So this technology is very useful for troubleshooting those hard leaks. You always don't get them the first time, I'll tell you that. We try to make the advanced way of getting it right first, but you have to sometimes use some other tools to find out what's going on and to really, thermally x-ray the building to figure out where the water is. And as the water goes in there, it shows a different color on the moisture because it holds more heat, right? So it's a great tool. Next slide. Up next is Jason Caruth, branch manager in the Sanford, Orlando area.
Thanks, Mike.
Hi, Jason.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the roof asset management plan that we're discussing and the maintenance of roof systems. Just a little bit of history about myself. Next slide. Another poll here. So how do you currently budget for roofs? I think everybody that has any type of business just went through budgeting at the end of this past year for what they're going to spend in 2024. This is a critical part of the building Clint mentioned earlier. That the most expensive asset, part of the asset that you're going to replace is your roof. So looks like a lot of people work with the consultant. 50% of the people work with the consultant to budget for their roofs. So it's pretty interesting. That's probably a good decision when you have a big expensive asset, that get somebody in there that understands the ins and outs of what the requirements are. So roof management programs, we listened to everybody talk about the importance of maintaining roofs, keeping all your warranties. Advanced Roofing has a trademark software called Advanced Access, which is a cloud-based roof asset management portal that is internet-based, that is free to the customers. You have online access to all of your buildings. You have online access to service inspections, service reports, ordering service to your buildings. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. It is a cloud-based system that is utilized with all of our service techs in the field. It is utilized with all of our admin as far as invoicing, and the customers have logins to them as well. So what's included? You can include everything that's here on this line, all your inspections, which requires one of our service technicians to go out and do an inspection of your building, which is actually the initial portion of gathering all the data. A couple of things that they're identifying is the square footage of the building, the composition of what type of roof you have, the substrate, also identifying the inventory, what type of mechanical equipment you have, what type of roof drains. Other things that they're identifying are the defects, which are how you budget for repairs. Budgeting comes in two sectors. You're going to budget for repairs and maintenance, and you're also going to budget for capital expenses for replacements. So two different costs: immediate, what is it going to cost to maintain the roof, and then what is it going to cost, and how much longer do we have before we got to actually replace our roof? Next slide, please. This is a little video. I'm going to try to get everybody to be like Nicole, so watch the video here.
This is Nicole. She is a property manager for 20 commercial buildings in the area. But Nicole is in over her head, literally, with roofing issues. She's spending most of her time coordinating maintenance and repairs, analyzing reports, and budgeting for future projects, all while frantically searching for her roof's important documents when issues arise. And to complicate matters, all of Nicole's properties have different roof systems and life cycles, making routine asset management nearly impossible. Nicole was feeling frustrated and overwhelmed, trying to manage all of her roofs using different paper forms and spreadsheets, when she heard about the Advanced Access Roof Asset Management Portal from Advanced Roofing, Inc. In business since 1983, Advanced Roofing, Inc. is ranked as the #1 commercial roofing company in Florida by Roofing Contractor Magazine and specializes in roof replacements, repairs, and maintenance services for occupied buildings in Florida. Advanced Roofing implemented the Advanced Access Roof Asset Management Portal to help its customers achieve the maximum life cycle from their roofing assets through preventative maintenance, while feeling safe and secure by having complete control over their roofs 24/7, 365 days a year. From any internet-ready device, Nicole can now view all of her roof's information in one location, dispatch service with the click of a button, track work orders in real time, see photos from repairs, view warranty documents, and build custom reports for budgeting. Everything she needs is uploaded to her customer portal seamlessly and can be viewed from anywhere, anytime, even from the beach. With Advanced Access, Nicole can now streamline her roofing projects for good, allowing her to concentrate on what matters most, ensuring a safe environment for her tenants and saving money for her properties. So, if you're a building owner or property manager with multiple buildings to care for, don't get overwhelmed. Get Advanced Access. Be like Nicole and free yourself from the stress of roof asset management. To schedule your free demonstration of the Advanced Access Roof Asset Management Portal, contact Advanced Roofing today.
Yeah, so Nicole's got it easy using our service. So what does it entail? So basically, Advanced Access is beneficial for property management companies, building owners who are not only multiple buildings like Nicole has, but even if you have one building as well. How do we get you set up, and what does it do? So, like I said, it's a free service where basically we acknowledge the request. We go out, we utilize the software from a site technician who goes out and does the inspection. He gets up on the roof and he is identifying two aspects of it. He's identifying the inventory of what the condition of the roof is, what type of roof system it is, the square footage, all the inventory that's on the roof, where the drainage is, what type of life cycle it has in it, and then he identifies all the deficiencies that he finds. The deficiencies are basically identified with two scenarios, either an emergency or a remedial, and I'll get to that in a second. But during the observation, he basically gains everything about the roof system and puts it into the database. Therefore, when we go back and we have a history for everything that the roof entails at that point. So we're the current condition of the roof is really what we're doing. Next slide. So right here, we're looking at an example of this specific building on the left. This is a building that has a total of 9 roof sections. That has an outlined perimeter there of the total roof, and it's broken up into 9 sections that total 26,000 plus square feet. The sections are numbered 1 through 9. Each section has square footage of each individual area, and we get an estimated install of the year that when it was put on. Where does this come from? A lot of the homework we try to do comes from the property appraiser's website, so where we go in and try to look for permit history, or from the customer themselves. They might have when the building was re-roofed, they might have the original contract. A lot of that stuff is shared up front. The more information that the customer can give us to load into the portal, the more accurate it is, the better off we can service you. There is a grade associated, like an elementary scale grade A through F, based off of the condition of the roof that we will get to, and I'll kind of give you an idea what those mean here on the next slide. But the area on the right is identifying section 1, and in section 1, it is graded a level D. And here in section 1, like I mentioned, there's 2 areas. There's remedial and there's emergency. Remedial is identified as work that should be done, recommendation that should be done within the near future, where an emergency is a cause for water intrusion and is actually causing the roof system to fail, or water is getting in. The example that they're using here, there's debris on the roof that needs to be cleaned up, and the remedial and there's a cost associated with this. This is a budgeting cost that we talked about of $450 to clean up the debris on this roof. And then down below is the emergency. There's a blister in the membrane. It looks like it's on the lap of the modified membrane. It probably is busted, and it's causing water entry to come in. And the repair there, it has an estimated cost of $3,300. Now, what we do is we go through each individual roof section. We identify the deficiencies and give you the estimated budget for sections 1 through 9, and that's how we come up with the grades as well. Next slide, please. So on the budget matrix, we've identified everything through 1 through 9. We give you the emergency and the remedials. We also provide you with long-term budgets based off of recommendations. Is the roof, can we do the remedial and the emergency repairs and put you under a maintenance program? A lot of people, one of the questions in the chat was, what is a maintenance program? Maintenance programs are what we call preventative maintenance. Clint talked to you about it earlier. It is a recommended from the manufacturer bullet points to the problem areas of the roof system to extend the life of the roof. Cleaning out the roof drains, making sure the drain bolts are tight, making sure that where the water flows, the scuppers are sealed, sheet metal items are sealed and the fasteners are tightened. Penetrations that come through the roof are identified. And typically this is done once a year. And it's actually a performed task on our list is 9 bullet points of, depending on the roof system, each individual type of roof has a different set of tasks. A single ply roof system will have certain tasks compared to a modified roof system to a built up roof system. We do have maintenance programs for metal roofs and slope roofs as well. Obviously, they're not as entailed because you are basically just cleaning gutters and making sure that you're having positive drainage off the roof. But maintenance programs are initiated after these emergency and the remedial repairs are completed. So really what we're doing is we're bringing your roof up to speed by identifying everything that we need to repair on the emergency side. Remedials are recommended as well. Then we put your roof under a maintenance program. We also in the software are providing re-roof budgets. A lot of those budgets are based off of the metrics that Clint spoke about earlier in regards to the height and the type and the square foot cost. And it's pretty much going back with the like kinds. Sometimes we can do recover budgets. The state of Florida does allow you to put 2 roofs on if they do qualify. And then coatings. We talked about coatings a little bit, elastomeric coatings, silicones, urethanes. Acrylic coatings are optimal when you have roofs that have positive drainage or slope roofs. We can provide budgets for coatings and extending the lives of roofs utilizing a coating, which is a more cost-effective method than an actual re-roof. Next slide. So back to the example here. This is the summary of section 9 on this roof. This section here is 18,700 square feet of the entire roof. This section is rated a D. The reason it's rated a D is due to the items that they've identified here. Broken down pretty specific, 450 linear feet of sealant needing to be replaced, all the way through the punch list here, totaling the emergency repairs of $5,730. The remedial repairs of almost another $5,000, which are the recommendations. And then we have a replacement budget. Typically, we give you replacement budgets on roof systems that are C, Ds, and Fs. So you can basically start putting money away or kind of budgeting for future years. And the next slide elaborates on that a little bit. Right here below this section here, it talks about, now this is from a customer's portal point of view. This elaborates on the grading scale that I talked about. A is 10 years of life or more. B is 8 to 10, C 5 to 7, D 2 to 4, and F is less than 1 year. The biggest question that we get is, okay, I'm doing all my emergency, I'm doing all my remedial repairs. How much more life will I get out of the roof? We can extend the life of the roof system and bring those grades up if the emergency and the remedials are done and a maintenance program is put into place. That's the idea of what roof asset management is. We're basically trying to extend the life of your roof to the longest possible ability in order for it to perform. And by yearly maintenance and by inspections on your roof, that is the best way to do it. So in this view here, this is from the client's point of view, and they're basically looking at their property here, and you can go in. It's like an a la carte menu. In section 1, I'm going to choose $200 for the emergency and click all these boxes, and this is what I need to get done. And actually, it looks like, they're going to choose the replacement over the shipping. Probably, it's rated a D. Could be hindering business, like boxes getting wet or whatever the case may be, and that's probably the way that they need to go in this route for this example. So this slide right here, from the customer's point of view, is the best budgeting matrix that you can look at. You're looking at, on that particular building, the 9 sections of how many times a service has been done. And that's in the priority. This is basically 6 times, 6 times, 6 times, and how much money has been spent on each individual section. So it gives you an idea of when you're tracking, and every time we go out there, Advance goes out there and does a repair, and we track the amount of money that goes to each individual section, it's giving you an idea of when is it time to start thinking about replacement. In this specific scenario, you can see on the distribution center 87, it seems like that area there, they've spent the most money, $22,000 in repairs, and 5 times. So it might start thinking, well, that is, we're putting a lot of money into that section. Do we need to re-roof it? This is a tracking mechanism for the customer and Advance to kind of give you an idea of where you're spending your money. And when you're doing capital budgets, or you're doing budgets for each year, you can kind of refer back to this and get a very detailed description of how much money you're going to be spending in the future. Now, the idea is, as you do the initial repairs and your initial maintenance, that's the upfront cost of getting the roof up to speed. The studies that Clint talked about with the Air Force is they do all that up front, and then they maintain the roofs in the future years to come. You should spend less money on reactive repairs while doing maintenance. Next slide, I believe, is basically taking this and doing the budgets for capital improvements. So these are the entire sections based off of the square footages and giving you a replacement budget for each individual one. So you can kind of look at it. Based off of the grade, based off of the years, based off of the dollar amounts, that's how you budget of when the capital project's going to need to be redone. So how do I share this with my people, right? You can take this right from our portal. You can export all this to a spreadsheet and share it with everybody in the company and kind of keep this in track. It's all user-friendly to the customer, and you have access to this anytime. A little bit more about this. I talked about service. You can go into advanced access and order service. An example is if I had a leak on warehouse 28, in this particular frame, I could actually click on warehouse 28 and click the service button, and it would dispatch service right to our office. You could go in there and say, hey, it's leaking over aisle 18 on warehouse 28. Please see Peter when you get there. The note gets sent right to our office, and then you'll get notified. If you noticed in the video from Nicole, it talked about the different aspects of the dispatched all the way to the confirmed. You can be set up to get email notifications of when the leak is acknowledged, when our technicians are on site, and when they get finished. And when they get finished, you can actually log into the portal and see the before and after pictures of exactly what has been done that day. A lot of you people that are managing properties for other people outside, you can share this information. If you have tenants, you can share this information with the tenants live time. As soon as you get that email from us, you can say, Advanced Roofing has left the site. They have made the repairs. Please let us know if you have any more water intrusion. Kind of gives them a little bit of a comfort from a property management point of view to communicating that with your tenant or your owner. Real-time access is a little bit of an overview. Like I said, this is a free inspection. It's really a benefit to anybody who has multiple buildings, who has one building, keeping a track of everything. If you, like Clint mentioned earlier, if you get a warranty, an NDL warranty, it's all fine and dandy. The manufacturers write the warranty. The first thing they're going to ask is, what type of maintenance has been done on this roof? What type of inspections have you done on this roof? We're in year 12 of the 20-year NDL and you have a failure. They're going to come back to you and say, well, what have you done since in the last 12 years? You have all this information in the portal that you can share with them, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts. And the manufacturer can relay this, can look at this information and basically you have done your due diligence by the warranty by maintaining the roof system. Next slide is these are all the key account managers, people that you want to contact. If you look, and this is like we talked about earlier, we're all statewide. Take this information down, screenshot this picture right here. Call the person, you get the free inspection. You can actually put it in the chat if you want to as well.